So we have reached mid-November 2020. So let's talk about Halloween, shall we? Hi, welcome to my channel. I make videos about life in my small town, nerdy things, and parenting stuff. I upload sporadically, so what you should do is subscribe and hit that bell button so you know when I do. I feel like so many of us had grand ideas of what we were going to be like as parents. I know that because I had worked with children for years, I figured I was going to be a really good parent. Don't we all think we're going to be great parents before we have kids? But in this instance, I want to talk about the parent I thought I'd be at Halloween. Now, I grew up in a family that didn't do much for Halloween. We didn't do anything really. Sometimes we'd have a fun fair at my church. Other times we'd just stay home. We never did any trick-or-treating, and because we lived far out in the country, we didn't have any trick-or-treaters coming to our house, except for the occasional neighbor who we were friends with, and we just kind of eat chocolate and candy together. Now, as adults with our own children, we do the dressing up thing. We do the going out for candy, but we don't really celebrate any of the spooky kind of bits about it. As I was growing up, I loved seeing the kind of amazing things people could come up with in their imagination to be for Halloween. I always thought, when I grow up, I'm gonna be that mom. I'm gonna be that mom that lets their kids' imagination go, and I'm gonna make all those Halloween costumes. I will be the make the costumes mom. I wanted to be that mom that left her kids with that special memory of how cool it was that year that their mom made that awesome costume for them. And so I have learned some very basic, I still have so much to learn, I've learned some very basic sewing skills. And over the years, I've started making my children's Halloween costumes, starting obviously with my eldest, with my daughter. Over the years, I've made her a gnome costume, parts of a Minnie Mouse costume, Katara. Then there was the year that her brother was born, incidentally 2016. So in my mind, he had to be Baby 8. So I made him a Baby 8 costume. For a couple of years after that, the kids chose costumes out of their dress-up bins, and that was fine too. And then again last year, Naomi designed her own fairy costume. I made fairy wings, and I attached roses to everything and strung fairy lights through and got very ornate. Now, mind you, this is just Halloween. Birthdays are a whole other thing. Birthday themes started to require costumes too. There was the year I made a Sophia the First skirt. There was the year I made a Padme dress for her 7th Star Wars birthday. And most recently, an Eowyn-inspired dress for her Lord of the Rings socially distanced fellowship birthday. Now, before I go on, I know this is a lot. No one was expecting or requiring me to do any of these things. It's just my daughter has a very extensive and creative imagination that I've always wanted to foster and nurture. My son Adam has never really put that much thought or effort into it. He doesn't really care. He was just like, I'll be a Ninja Turtle, I'll be Spider-Man, I'll be whatever. This year, however, he did choose to be an astronaut. I happened to stumble across somebody selling an astronaut costume, a Canadian astronaut costume, which was very exciting to me, but all it had was a cap. So I bought the foam, I bought a pattern, I was gonna create and sculpt him a helmet, but when he put the cap on with the costume, he's like, this is good, mommy. So I didn't have to do that one. But as the years have passed, I've started noticing that the costume isn't the only stressor and thing that comes up around these kinds of holidays. You may have noticed this year has been, shall we say, particularly stressful. And so this year, as I plugged away at Naomi's Nixie the Nature Fairy, daughter of the fairy godmother, where she comes up with these things, I don't know. I was hand sewing away because my sewing machine broke on the first day of working on the costume and I couldn't get it fixed. I was getting no sleep and unable to work because we had all started to develop quite bad colds, which were preventing me from working and my daughter from going to school. And finally, I broke. I stressed and I cried and I broke down and I finally had to just call it. This is it. Next year, the kids will have store-bought costumes because I just can't do it anymore. It has simply become too big of a deal. Now, to a lot of you, this may not seem like a big deal, but to me, this was something that I had been thinking of for so many years. This was a thing I wanted to do. I wanted to be that mom. I can be that mom. This is a thing I had promised myself I would always do. I would make the costumes. I'd make the Halloween costumes. I'd make a birthday outfit. I would be that mom. I wanted to be that parent that made these things that they would remember forever. But I realized as I stressed and sewed and snapped because they were bothering me. And as I was trying to make these awesome, cool memories for my kids, they were getting these excellent costumes. But they weren't getting me, because I was too stressed and anxious and crabby. Would they remember the awesome costumes and the memories we made together at this time in these costumes? Or would they remember that every year around Halloween, their mom got super grumpy and didn't want to be bothered? Is that the kind of thing I want my kids to remember and take away and have in their memories forever? I want my kids to have fun memories of doing cool fall things, carving jack-o'-lanterns, picking costumes, trick-or-treating, laughing, watching movies, having fun times around this time of year. Not of mommy sitting at a sewing machine or at the table being cranky because I haven't slept because I'm constantly thinking about this pattern of the thing I'm trying to make. I don't want them to have those memories. So this year, as I watched my children run and laugh and play in their excellent costumes in a very different Halloween than normal, we were socially distanced at Grandma's doing a treasure hunt for candy, wearing our masks, keeping away from everybody else. Next year, store-bought costumes and less stress. I want to be present in these moments with my kids. This is a parenting goal that I can let go of. Some things aren't worth the stress. My point is, being present and available as a parent, it's much more important than being that ideal of a perfect parent that you have ingrained into your mind. I'm learning. This is what motherhood and parenting is all about, especially as we go into the Christmas season, which is going to look different again. Remember the things that are important about this time of year and important about your own family unit, and let go of some of those things that aren't as important as you think they are. So I know it's mid-November and we're already looking towards American Thanksgiving or Christmas, but tell me, what did you do for Halloween? Let me know in the comments down below. How did you celebrate with your kids? Did you go trick-or-treating? You find a social distance way to do it? Or how did you celebrate this year? Please let me know down below. Let me know if there's any parenting goals or ideals that you've had in your head that you've had to let go of since becoming a parent. Talk to me in the comments because I do love hearing from you. Until next time, I hope you're staying well and staying healthy. Stay safe.